just saw this on eBay and bought it, and it's just arrived. It's a spark plug cleaner, old-fashioned spark plug cleaner with a rubber sort of diaphragm here, which you poke the plug through, and it blasts grit at the bottom. I used to have one, a really cheap little plastic one, for years, but it eventually gave up the ghost. There's just a little 12-volt battery, and it actually had a sort of impeller that threw the grit at the underside of the plug. But again, it had a similar sort of arrangement to this, where you just poke the plug through a rubber donut, and so it got blasted from underneath. I say it worked really well, but so I think the motor must have blown up or something. I certainly threw it away anyway. So when I saw this, I thought, why not give it a go? I've already taken 2 acorn nuts off these 2 long studs here. And so there's off this little mechanism on the top for opening the plug, which sort of latches open in a very simple way, which is good. And obviously this whole thing comes off, but looks like it's on these 2 keyhole slots, like so. So I can clean that up, and obviously it looks like you can replace the rubber, assuming you could find one. There you go. So that's quite neat. I'll leave it in pieces. As for the rest, pretty simple really. This little sort of Bernoulli effect arrangement here that sucks the grit up these tubes here, the 2 tubes, and entrains it out of the flow here onto the underside of the plug, of course. So there's a grit button that does that. It's powered by air entirely, rather than any electric motor as in my old version. So basically just get a blast of air on the grit side, goes up to the centre and out this nozzle. So it sucks up the grit and blasts it at the plug. This one is labelled just air, and that's obviously just a plain air jet straight from the source, which I guess just cleans the grit off the plug when you've given it a blast. 2 outlets here and here with these basically socks on. There's obviously a spring inside there, just keeping the sock upright. So yeah, quite neat really. Obviously the whole thing is full of grit. There was grit in it, which I tipped into this bucket, and I think probably if I filter that, or strain it rather, through a strainer, I might reuse that. Otherwise you can still buy it easily enough, specifically for spark plug cleaners in fact. So I'll think about that. Maybe probably be as well to use new. It's fitted with a PCL fitting, which is very familiar in the olden times. Certainly I've got a few of those actually for various other air tools, and I'm going to try and get this off as well. The valves, the grit one feels absolutely fine. The air one is sticky, so I would guess that some grit has got into there. The trouble is, it looks as if these are sealed. In fact, I'm not sure whether it's assembled from the top. I was assuming that this lower part here was attached and maybe glued or welded in place. It certainly doesn't seem to show any inclination to come off or turn. So that's a shame. It'd be nice to dismantle these valves and clean them out, but maybe it comes from the other side. I will try and see if I can get these buttons off and basically just clean the whole thing up. So maybe some fresh grits, maybe some fresh filters if I can make those. These are just zip tied on, by the way, so they can't be that old, I guess, or at least they can't have been used that long ago if it's still using zip ties. I think the spring is attached to the base. Just take that tie off. This sock, oh there we go. Oh, there's a little sort of screw there, or it's not a screw, but oh, it's just to hold the stop it blowing off, I guess. Yeah, sure enough, there's a spring inside there, as expected. It just looks to be felt of some kind. So I can probably clean that. That's what I do with it. And the spring is certainly either flashed with copper or some sort of finish. It feels like a steel spring though. There we go. Turn it the right way so it shrinks slightly as the. Yeah, it's definitely steel. Anyway, so yeah, rubber sock. I guess this one will come off as well. Good. So the main issue is getting into these valves to stop this one sticking. I might be able to get into it this side, I suppose, but be better to take the whole lot out, wouldn't it? I'll have to see what I can do. So yeah, I think these do seem to be assembled through the bottom and then sealed up. But just working them through seems to have unstuck the sticky one. I'll put some of this fake WD-40 in here as well, which is probably a really bad idea in terms of attracting the grit again, but it does seem to work. I'll blow it through with air shortly, and hopefully that will clear the oil out. So there's also this seal here, which actually doesn't look too bad. It's a bit dirty, obviously, but it's not perished or anything. It seems to be fairly rubbery still, so that's good. I'll give that clean as well, obviously. I'll clean the whole thing now, and hopefully it should work. Right, it's all clean, or relatively speaking at least. So yeah, these buttons work pretty well now. This is a PCL, old-fashioned British connection, which is good for me because that's what I've got on my compressor. I'll put some thread lock on there just to seal that. This has come up reasonably well. Here are the felt filters. They've been through the washing machine actually, so they're good to go. I think it should just be a matter of reassembling it, giving it a go. I'm going to blast some air through first, just to clear out any gunk, hopefully. Okay, so compressors run. See what happens. Oop. Well, that certainly works. It's blown out the oil that I put in. So that's not so good. That one sticks still. Feels free now. Let's try again. Yep, still alright. That's better. That's just been a bit of grit blowing through. Yeah, it seems fine. I'm just know that this grit button is much fiercer than the air. I guess it must have a bigger orifice inside it somewhere. But yeah, it's good. That's down to the bottom. Just whip a zip tie on, which is what it had done before. Let's put the lug at the end inside, otherwise I think it's going to foul the tin can. That's good. Okay, looks good. So this seal is in properly now, so the tin can go back on, I think. I can line up the screw holes, the bolt holes. Right, all done, I think. So the only thing left to do is put some grit in it. So I take this off again and stick the grit in through the top. Yeah, looks plenty to me. An old spark plug. This is a N8. I can't remember what that is. Whether I think it's the Daimler. I've got a feeling it might fit the BSA as well. Anyway, it's used and not horribly dirty, but certainly not clean. So let's give that a go. See what happens. So stick it in there. Nice the way that holds itself back. Grit. So yeah, that's really good. So this rubber is a bit loose. I suspect it's shrunk or perished slightly, and it's still flexible, but does feel a bit stiff and dry. So maybe I can try and find one of those or make one or something. But if you just hold the plug down, it doesn't leak grit. So that's all good. Nice, quick and easy way of cleaning the plugs effectively. Shut the lid. Yeah, it's quite a useful tool, I think. I'll get some use out of that. Right, thanks for watching.